Alright, so I'm getting ready to mount the fuel manifolds for the fuel pump and the fuel filter for the polishing system. And here you can see I got it marked out where I'm going to mount it. Made myself a little template by just a rubbing on the back of the mounting bracket. There, as I drew out the little diagram, the reason I took the time to draw that out somewhat accurately was because the first time I mounted the filter, which is a pretty big beast, I mounted it too low. And I forgot about the fact that I'm going to have a pipe going across here for my exhaust system. So I got to keep it higher. But by the time you get this length of this thing, then you have to be able to pull the filter out the top. So it's got to sit up fairly high. We don't have any excess room here. And I kind of wanted to put just a little bit of a workbench in over here above that exhaust pipe. So I didn't want to push over this direction any farther than I had to. So the next time I mounted it up here. Well, that was a little too far to the right. It would have worked, but yeah, it wasn't great. So I had my valve assemblies pretty much put together, or the first one put together, and I was going to mount it up here, and I had it mounted, and I didn't really like the way the hoses were running, and the way the valves were laid out. I was trying to do this hardware here in such a way that the hose barbs were coming out the appropriate directions for which way the hose had to run, which made sense at the time. But then I looked at it, and what it amounted to was these valves then were at different angles, and they weren't all in a line like this. And I thought that might become confusing. So maybe I should make these manifolds, the supply and the return manifolds, identical. You know, here's supply and here's return. So this one goes to the port tank, this one, well, now why did I draw that differently? Port tank, or actually starboard tank, and starboard tank. Middle one goes, yeah, okay, that's right, yeah. Middle one goes to the port tank, and the middle one goes to the port tank. The far right valve goes to the day tank, far right valve goes to the day tank, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that the valves, you'll open, you know, the valves in pairs, so it makes more sense. Anyway, so I redid those, like I said, so it made a little more sense. And then I made a block to mount this set of valves, because again, I don't have a whole lot of room to work with, and I didn't want to get things too wild. So to get the fuel pump outlet in line with this hose barb here, I raised this up about 2 1/8 inches. And you'll see, I'll show you when I get it mounted that how that works out. But anyway, it puts it at the right angle. So we don't have to put a real long hose in there to bend the hose. But anyway, I'll show you that once I get it installed, which hopefully should be here very, very shortly.